तो दोस्तों, आदर, आदाब, अभिनंदन और आभार। मैं सल कमल कुमार अंडमान निकोबार आइलैंड से आपका स्वागत करता हूं। आज मैं आपको जापानीज ऑक्यूपेशन इन अंडमान आइलैंड्स बुक के चौथे चैप्टर के बारे में बताना चाहता हूं। यह बुक अमेजन किंडल स्टोर में ई बुक के रूप में अवेलेबल है और उसे आप वहां से खरीद सकते हैं, जो आपको डिजिटल रूप में प्राप्त होगा। अगर यह वीडियो आपको अच्छा लगे तो शेयर, सब्सक्राइब और लाइक करना ना भूलें। तो चौथा चैप्टर है एस्टेब्लिशमेंट ऑफ एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन। तो ये चित्र आप देख रहे हैं स्क्रीन पर, वो है पुराने जमाने का बाजार। तो आइए चैप्टर की शुरुआत करते हैं। On the third day of their arrival, the Japanese established their military rule over the Andamans in a cursory way. Since the Andamans were the last stronghold of theirs in the Indian Ocean and a gateway of India, the administration was taken over by the Japanese Navy, and the lieutenant, commonly known as commander for convenience, took over the charge as the governor over the civil population temporarily. तो दोस्तों, आप स्क्रीन पर देख सकते हैं आज का समय का अबरडीन। द कमांडर established his headquarters at Aberdeen. As soon as that was known to everyone, members of the public, both convicts and free, started a race to his headquarters. All of them wanted jobs, little knowing that the occupying force had a dossier on everyone who was of some importance. This was the result of their endeavor for years during peacetime, when the Japanese espionage machinery was systematically working all over the world generally and over the fast east particularly. Those who had read the book The Rising Sun, published by an American in the United States, already knew that the Japanese knew the country and every one of its people. Japanese photographers, dentists, and other in various professions had given up-to-date information about these to the headquarters of the intelligence department at Tokyo. This book, which forewarned the people of the East, was very rare, and only one copy had reached the public of the Andamans towards the end of 1941. I had read it, but not many must have done so. The three Japanese men, in particular two photographers and a dentist, were doing their job over comfortably for 10 years on lands and the Japanese fishing boats with expert naval personnel disguised as fishermen were surveying every inch of the seas of the coast of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands as mentioned earlier. They were doing so under the cover of licenses granted to them for shell fishing by the British Government of India. So the Intelligence Department of Japan drove two forks simultaneously in peacetime, one on land and the other at sea. Therefore, when they came as victors, although the islands were new to them, they were not new to the islands. They had everything with them in print. The naval commander saw for a week, and with the help of dossiers judged everyone who came to him at his headquarters for a job. The local intelligence department of both the army and the navy supplied in the meanwhile over information gathered through actual contact. After 1 week of occupation, Narayan Rao brought the news to the public that the Japanese military authorities wanted to establish a civil administration and a naval officer whose advent was also announced simultaneously. Narayan Rao was a sub-inspector of police before, but on the evacuation of top men, he was promoted as superintendent of police by the British. He brought the news to the public from the commander. Many brought the Japanese officers to their residence and gave them feast. Some quartered soldiers who were roaming all over. From the events that followed, it could be deduced easily that these trivial frolics of some gave the Japanese sufficient grounds to judge that the cream of intelligence had left the islands before they came, and the remaining people were from shallow stratum. It so happened on the day of occupation in the headquarters area that the Japanese, who were greatly in need of a house to accommodate their officers and men, just entered in the government bungalows previously occupied by officers and subordinates and barracks occupied by convicts, driving away the inmates. This is one of the reasons why such a large number of convicts were on the streets. A number of Indian government servants were also thrown out. Atul Chandra Chatterjee, Treasury Officer and Financial Advisor to the Chief Commissioner, who was forcibly ejected from his bungalow, was beheaded on the way to some friend's house. Others ran for their lives. Chatterjee's body was found after 3 days. Narayan Rao, who was occupying a government bungalow as superintendent of police, had to leave it, but he was kept on in his post by the Japanese to render them help. Surendranath Nag, the brother-in-law of Narayan Rao, who came into touch with the Japanese on account of the letter, was another frequent visitor to the commanders. In this way, a chain was formed of men going to the commander with the assistance of someone who had already reached there with the assistance of someone else. Narayan Rao and Surendranath, both the youngest men, were given back their motorcycles, which were confiscated on the second day of landing, with all other motor vehicles wherever found. Now, Narayan Rao, who had brought the news about the establishment of civil administration under the naval governor, was also charged with securing the attendance of leading citizens, not less than 30 and not more than 40 in number. When these persons reached the headquarters, they found that a number of officers of the Japanese Navy and Army were present there with English and Hindustani interpreters. The former brought from Singapore and the latter from Tokyo. It was announced through the interpreters after an introductory speech by the commander, who was in the chair, that the Imperial Japanese forces, having taken possession of the island, wished to establish their government, which would be civil in nature and would be headed by the governor drawn from the navy, and that all other would be civilians of the island. It was further announced that the following post would be filled by the votes of those who were present: one assistant commissioner under Japan governor, two tehsildars under assistant commissioner, one executive engineer, one engineer and harbor master, one superintendent of police, one assistant superintendent of police, one senior medical officer to be termed president doctor association, the other doctors being members, one intelligence officer. To start with, the chairman called for suggestions for the post of the assistant commissioner. He made it known from the outset that instead of wasting votes on any man who may be chosen at random, they should vote for two men only, namely Gopal Krishna and Ramakrishna. Here is the evidence of the fact that the armed forces of Japan came armed with a dossier on everyone on the island. Otherwise, how was it possible for them to mention these two names? This procedure also gave evidence of the fact that the dossier must have been prepared in Japan by the intelligence department from the information given to it by the peacetime espionage system mentioned in the Rising Sun. The five Japanese residents of Port Blair, the photographers and his wife, the dentist and his wife, and the other photographers were taken into custody on the declaration of war by Japan on the Allies and removed to India before the Japanese forces arrived here. They never contacted the occupying forces. Their information given from time to time must have been further checked by the intelligence officer after the occupation. Gopal Krishna obtained the majority of votes and was declared as elected. Ramakrishna was then asked by the chairman whether he would accept the post of the deputy commissioner. On his giving the assent, he was also appointed the same day, although his post was not originally in the list of posts to be filled up that day. After making the two appointments, there was a long pause when the Japanese officers had a long discussion and announced at the end of it that all other appointments were postponed. Within next 3 days, all remaining posts were arbitrarily filled up. In addition, a peace committee was also formed. The function of this committee was to settle miscellaneous disputes of a civil nature, somewhat in the way that the panchayat does. In filling the other posts, the Japanese generally kept on those who were given the post at the time of the occupation by the late government, except in a case or two where their selection fell on others. Civil courts were replaced by the peace committee, and a registrar of high court was an innovation, although there existed no high court. This is how the Indian staff of the new administration stood. Gopal Krishna, Assistant Commissioner; Ram Krishna, Deputy Commissioner; Narayan Rao, Superintendent of Police; Ittar Singh, Assistant Superintendent of Police; Govind Rao, Executive Engineer; Diwan Singh, President, Doctors Association; Durga Prasad, Chief Forest Officer; Thank Jing, Engineer and Harbour Master; Nawab Ali, Supply Officer; P. Bakshi, Chief Intelligence Officer; Abdul Wahab, the Superintendent, Cellular Jail; Abdul Dashid, Chief Jailer; Ratan Das, Jailer; L.D. Shangwa, Tehsildar; Abdul Ahad, Tehsildar; Faizul Hussain, Supervisor of Labours; Ratan Chand, Supervisor of Labours; Moti Ram, Headmaster of School; Brijlal, Registrar, High Court. Number 1, 3, 4, 14, 12 and 13 were shot as a sequence of spy case against them. Number 6 died of torture in the jail. Number 15 died in imprisonment. Number 16 and 18 died 2 days after their release from the jail as a result of torture. Number 2 and 7 were internated a number of times and finally internated until the cessation of hostilities. Number 9 died in jail while undergoing imprisonment after torture. Number 2, 5, 7, 8, 10, 12 and 19 only survived after the surrender. This is how the Japanese treated their officers and subordinates who ran the administration for them. The position of other can be imagined. तो दोस्तों इस चैप्टर का अंत यहीं होता है. यह बुक द अंडमान आइलैंड अंडर जापानीज ऑक्यूपेशन 1942 to 45 इज अवेलेबल इन अमेजन किंडल सेलेक्ट. तो यह बुक आप वहाँ से खरीद सकते हैं जो आपको डिजिटल रूप में प्राप्त होगा. तो देखिए नेक्स्ट वीडियो में बने रहिए क्योंकि नेताजी सुभाष चंद्र बोस जी का आगमन अंडमान में होने जा रहा है. तो दोस्तों वीडियो में बने रहने के लिए शुक्रिया. डू फॉलो मी फॉर द नेक्स्ट चैप्टर. थैंक यू.